Welcome to Joe's Atmosphere.
Cook your shrimp, please. All of a sudden, my shrimp pan is burning up like a smoke fest.
Okay. All right, boys and girls, welcome aboard. It is time for this week's episode of State of the Atmosphere. Tonight, we're going to do a review of Loki. This week's episode that I think they come out on Thursdays. We'll check in, make sure we're up to date. I'm pretty sure we are. It's only the second episode, and then we're also gonna have an update on the strikes going on, and also we're gonna talk about our favorite Halloween movies, the scary movies. Since it is the season, we're gonna talk about that tonight. Part one of our Halloween celebration. And if we have time, we're going to get to the movies we want to put on Noc's list for greatest movies of all time. All that and more tonight on State of the Atmosphere. All right, it's time for Halloween, State of the Atmosphere. Let's go. Good to see you guys. And of course, as usual, I've got a compadre here tonight. Das Wolfen is here. What's going on, man?
Oh, not a lot. Just ready for the usual Wednesday night fun time.
Yeah, we get to hang out and talk about stuff we dig and critique stuff we might dig or might not dig. Yeah, we'll see what's going on with it. Noc is on vacation, so I doubt we're going to see him. We'll probably see him in the chat, but I want to see pictures of this lightsaber he's going to build, man. That's what I want to see. He's checking something off his bucket list. He's going down there for the Star Wars experience. He's the biggest Star Wars nerd I know. He if I have questions about Star Wars, I ask him. You know, he's younger than we are, but he knows more about it than anybody I know.
There's Noc in the chat.
Is he in there? Let's see. Who all we got in here tonight? First one in tonight was Tim. What's going on? He says, hail. He also said, so Joe has a face for radio then. That's kind of funny because my dad's a DJ. That's funnier than you think. Then we got Christian Delorme. He's in tonight. Says, bonjour, everybody. He also says that they got a double bill tonight. They're doing Halloween movies up there in Canada right now. Yeah. He's watching Life Force, which we did on That 70s Rock Fans channel on Monday.
Yep.
That's a fun one. Fun science fiction take on a vampire story. And Forbidden World from 1982. I don't know that I know that one. You know that one, John? Forbidden World?
It sounds familiar. I'm not recalling off the top of my head. Is that the French animated one?
Let's see. We'll look it up real quick while we're checking in with everybody. Forbidden Planet, Forbidden World. No, this looks like it's live action. Whoa. Tripendicular. Hang on a second. Let me pull this up real quick. This is it right here. I don't know if it. Let's see. Science fiction horror in deep space.
You know, I don't think I've seen this.
I don't think I've ever seen this, but it's got some people I recognize. June Chadwick. Remember her? I think she was on Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, hello.
Right?
I saw some things you can't show on there.
Oh, yeah?
Where the trailer's going.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to look at the trailer for it.
Okay, no problem.
Well,
Sounds like something I might be interested in then. But yeah, this guy right here, Lyndon Childs, I remember him being in some movies back then too. So yeah, okay, all right, man. Well, you enjoy the movies you're gonna watch for
yep.
sure. Let's see who else we got here. We got Ariel. She's here. She says, "Too bad, not the voice." Okay, I don't know what this is all about.
For radio.
Yeah, right. Are you wearing the same shirt as you were last night, Joe? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, because I didn't mess it up. It's a brand new shirt. My wife got me of all places, Bass Pro Shop. You believe that shit? They sell everything there. You should let's see. You should show like Gary some Bond films. Yeah, I hear you. And Noc is here. Stuff and things. He says. Just got back to the hotel. Cool, man. Turned on the TV and 1992 Batman Returns just started. I'm in. There you go.
Cool.
Let's see, and nudity. She says, "Wow." I saw the mothership model from Close Encounters of the Third Kind today. Wow, that
Nice.
thing's got to be huge. That thing has to be huge. Um, and the French cartoon film is Fantastic Planet.
Planet. Yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, as advertised, I want to go ahead and get started with. Let me see. Do I have that in here? Let me check it out real quick. No, I didn't send it over here. I guess I didn't send that over here. But we're going to check in on the strike first thing. Tim says, "Got to be huge." What is that? Is what she said. Oh my god, you guys! I swear, everything's got uh, sexual overtones. I swear. Okay, so we want to start with our update on what's going on in Hollywood with the strike and everything. So let me get this up here. I kind of jumped the gun and stopped the screen earlier because I didn't want to show anything crazy. But yeah, George Clooney meets with SAG-AFTRA leadership to discuss why contract negotiations broke down. George Clooney was among several actors who met with SAG-AFTRA leadership on Tuesday, October 17th, to discuss why contract negotiations broke down on October 11th. The Ocean's 11 star 62 spoke with Guild President Fran Drescher and Union National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator Duncan Crabtree, Ireland, over Zoom. According to Deadline, Scarlett Johansson, Emma Stone, Ben Affleck, and Tyler Perry also attended the meeting. And I saw another headline in there about Netflix wanting to get it over with here pretty quick. So that's where they're at. That they're still at a stalemate, guys. They're not. It's
Yep.
kind of dragging. It looks like. But for me, hey, take all the time you want. I haven't been into what you're doing lately, and the longer this goes on, the more some of these places are going to reboot what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yep.
we've seen Disney start to reboot what they're doing, and yeah, I like the direction things are going. They're starting to wake up to the fact they've been screwing up. Let's see. Knox says build a droid at 12:30 tomorrow, and a lightsaber at 4:30 p.m. and as much stuff I can pack in before, in between, and after those builds. So you're only spending one day over there, Knock, in the experience. Yeah, I guess you would have to make an appointment to do that, huh? Wow, I didn't know you could build a droid though.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Saber thing, but I didn't know you can build a droid, man. I wonder if it's remote controlled.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
probably a little tiny thing.
You think? Oh
Yeah.
man, I mean, because I built a robot in college. You probably
Yeah.
did too. Um, it was to teach you how to write ladder logic and shit like that. So, he says, "Yup, yeah, very cool, man. I like it. I like it. I hope you're having a blast, dude. I really do."
Yep.
Okay, so let's get the review of this week's Loki out of the way. I wasn't as lost this week as I was last week. They threw so much shit at me 100 miles an hour last week. Both me and my wife were looking at each other like, what the hell did we just watch? But it was a little bit more focused this week. With the TVA on the, let's see, it would help if I put it on the screen. Let's see. With the TVA on the verge of a temporal meltdown, Loki and Mobius will stop at nothing to find Sylvie. Yeah, I mean, where do we want to start here? First of all, there's spoilers, guys. Whenever you see this graphic, we're done talking about it. So if you don't want to know what happened in Loki this week, look for that. Whenever I put that up, we're done talking about Loki. I'm kind of glad our Mr. Fix-It guy wasn't in it that much, because that's what confused the shit out of me last time. He just rattled stuff off so fast I couldn't grasp anything he was talking about. But yeah, them questioning Homeboy, the guy from what was it, Zania? Was that the character's name in the movie he was in that they ran into?
Zanuck.
In that? Zaniac. That's it.
Zaniac. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. And I, it was cool to see Loki doing his thing where he's all over the place at once and stuff. That was cool. I do like that about him. He started being himself a little bit more in this one, especially when he was questioning old Homeboy there. And he had that, I don't know what that thing's called, but it put that cube around him and he kept making it smaller on him, messing him up. But yeah, that I thought that was cool. I wasn't as lost this time, but yeah, this is the thing that hang on real quick. What's Noc saying? Yeah, you have to reserve both workshops like a BD9.
BB9, the little rolling robot that's from the
I got you.
The sequels.
Yeah,
that's what he's making.
I thought his name was BB8.
Yeah, I guess he is BB8.
Yep, he must have hit the wrong button on his phone. Anyway, I love the fact that the female Loki's back in it. I think she was the best thing about the first season of it. I really thought she's really cool. I love the fact that she doesn't want to have anything to do with this shit. She just wants to work at McDonald's and have a normal life, stay away from all this crap.
Yeah, there's a theory about that.
Yeah,
her manager guy.
Yeah,
the theory is that's a young Owen Wilson. That's Mobius as a youngster.
No shit. Let's see. Noc says I couldn't remember his name. Sequels are trash. Yeah.
Don't blame you.
I can't believe that actually came out of Noc's mouth. Wow. He's kind of like Star Wars theory. He'll defend almost anything Star Wars, but I guess you can't defend those, can you?
No.
Rise of Skywalker. I mean, dude, I'd rather watch. I've told you this before. I'd rather watch Mahler's An Unbridled Rage version of it than watch the actual movie. At least you'll laugh your ass off at it. But okay, so apparently what happened was the person now who is it that's working against him? That was unclear to me.
The hunter that they're looking for is Hunter X05.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise known as Brad.
Okay.
He went back in the past because he wanted his own life too. He's one of the
ones
but
that's not the one I'm confused about. Who is the one that set off all the bombs in the timelines?
Oh, it's General. Oh crap! What's her?
Oh, name? Is it the chick that was running the place last year?
Yeah, the old lady.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Let's see. Tim says, did you hear about how the BBC now can't show the first Doctor Who story? Why? That makes no sense. But yeah, I was a little bit confused about who was the mastermind behind all these attacks on the timelines.
General Docs. She's trying to get rid of all the variant timelines because she didn't believe what the council had decided.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the last episode they decided to leave the timelines alone, just stop pruning and see what's going on. Well, they went and destroyed all these timelines.
Yeah. Yep. He says ducks. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and apparently they got rid of all of them except for the main one. It looked like, at least on that graphic they showed. But what was weird to me was they were freaking out like a bunch of people were getting killed, and I'm like, haven't you guys been pruning people this entire time and not even thinking twice about it?
Yeah,
What's the big problem now? I mean,
because they showed, and last year this whole thing showed that that they were taken from the timelines. They're all variants themselves,
yeah,
and they have this suddenly. I'm one of them, so I don't want to see them get destroyed.
right. But here's the thing, when you really think about it, what is the job of this time police thing? It's to protect the main timeline, right?
Yeah,
So really, that's been achieved to the nth degree, really.
yeah, they're trying to preserve the sacred timeline,
Right, exactly.
which is the timeline that He Who Remains built.
Right. The right owner of the story basically doesn't like the BBC long story. The guy is not a nice person. He loves the head of Germany from. Oh wow, okay,
Yeah,
and made them pull it. Wow, that sucks. Let's see. Knox says there are still some branches left. Anytime they go to a timeline, it will tell you above the date what kind of branch it is. Okay, cool. Um, well, we kind of knew that some of them were still around because she went back to hers and it was still there. Female
yeah,
Loki did. So it just looked like on the map that all of them had been snipped off. But I got an idea that that's kind of a simple graphic,
yeah.
I did enjoy the scene where he was fucking torching him with that cube. That was pretty funny. And I did like the part where he was chasing him through the streets and he came up with that mob to friggin' slow him down and catch him. Seeing the horns grow up in the shadows that grabbed him against the wall and everything. That was cool. I thought that was neat. It was good to see Loki use his powers, man.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
especially like the shadow where you saw the shadow. He's coming up on Brad, and you see the horns.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The horns growing up out of the shadows. Very cool. Very cool stuff. Yep. Let's see. Tim says, here's the kicker. He may not even have the rights to the episode. Okay. Well, I
Well, if I want to watch it, I'll just watch it because
I was fixing to say you can sail the high seas and find Doctor Who. They've probably got it everywhere, man. You probably wouldn't even have to surf the high seas for that. But
Yeah. I just get into my server back here.
right. But about Loki, this one wasn't as confusing. I understood what the fuck was going on. So but I'm kind of wondering. Here's the thing: how in the hell are they going to get He Who Remains to come take care of that blast door? Now, let's tell them what we're talking about here. It's the one. Once again, every time this guy talks, I just confused as shit. He's talking about mechanics and stuff, but is the blast door closed and they can't open it? What is the deal?
Yeah, they can't open it, it can only be opened by the guy who built it, which is He Who Remained.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to.
Who's dead?
Who's dead? They've killed him. Pretty sure female Loki killed him, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
which is what caused all the branches in the first place.
Right. So, yeah, what a paradox, huh? So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna pull this off. Maybe there's a version of him that knows how it works or something. I don't know. I have no clue. But I think there's what do we got? 6 episodes of this thing? I think it's gonna be 6, like it was the first season. So
I think so. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. Because I think he said they're all going to get wiped out if they can't open that blast door. For what reason, I don't know. But like I said, every time he talks, it confuses the shit out of me.
I think I think unless they can get out there to fix the loom,
Fix something? Yeah. Okay.
the time loom, it's
Yeah.
going to yeah. I forgot about that theory.
There's a theory
Renslayer.
that Renslayer is a female version of Who Remains. Now Renslayer.
Renslayer is the chick from last year that was running things,
Right.
and she's the she was like Mobius's friend and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, I
Turned
remember
on
that.
him.
Yeah, I remember all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I don't have to watch it again. I just need to be reminded. That's all.
Yeah, because she fled at the end of it, and they had
Tim,
her. They
go
got
ahead.
her little time device thing, her little time pad, and they were trying to track her down.
Right. Let's see. Tim says, "Bet you all of the MCU is going to be reset down the line.
Oh.
Pull a Dallas season 9. Oh, that would be the best thing to do, I think, at this point.
It is reset. It is resetting after Secret Wars, because they're going to use Secret Wars to completely reset everything.
Which makes sense, because if you know the Secret Wars story, they're fighting the Molecule Man, right? Isn't that correct? On another planet?
Beyonder.
Yeah. Oh, the Beyonder. Yeah, that's right. The Beyonder.
Yeah.
Let's see. Noc says main support for the theory is that she was there during the war. Okay. All right. I mean, we'll see what happens. They could do anything with this show. This show is just it's like a Picasso painting. They could just throw any cube or triangle or whatever in there that they want, make it work. It's it makes the stakes. It makes the stakes kind of not there, really. I mean, didn't we see Owen Wilson's character die last year? He got pruned last year and he's back, right? I mean, it's
because Loki went back in the timeline, and that's a variant. He didn't go back to the right place.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It just, the stakes for this just, it's not like Infinity War. You know what I mean? There were stakes there. People died. They were gone. They were history. They had to go through hell and back to get them back. Let's see. Plus, remember, women are all powerful now, so naturally we need a she who remains. Oh yeah, okay. There you go, Noc. Listen, Noc. I've never heard him sound so cynical. Oh my God, what is going on with Noc? Our guy's growing up. Oh my gosh.
It's leftover cynicism from his sports ball team.
Is that what it is? Oh yeah. I can understand that. Yes. Yeah. But as far as how good this episode was, I enjoyed it. Kind of a cliffhanger ending, I guess. Now they've got to track down He Who Remains, right? Or at least some version of him that can figure out how to open this door, right? So so we'll see what happens with that. The only thing I'm concerned about with this show is the female Loki and what happens with her. And
Tim,
dug her in the first one.
Tim, the saying is nobody ever dies in the Marvel universe except Captain Marvel, and he still gets guest spots.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Bucky, Jason Todd, and Uncle Ben.
All of whom have come back.
All of them have come back at some point. That's right. All right. Anything else you want to tell them about this episode? I thought it was okay. I definitely liked it better than the first one, because the first one just was confused. This is still kind of slow moving though. It's kind of a slog. It is, did we need the pie eating scene?
I like the pie. Everybody's crapping on the pie eating scene. I'm like, that's lore. That's backstory. You need that stuff.
Okay. All right.
It's character development.
Okay. It's a little slow, but that's cool. What I thought was cool about it was when Brad was freaking out at the McDonald's, and Owen Wilson was like, "Why are you freaking out?" And he'd let him know, "Hey man, we got to get out of here. Something bad's going to happen." Noc says, "I watched the thing, just so you know." Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, The Thing. Well, we're looking forward to your review. Um, did you like or not like? Just tell us that right now, and we'll hear uh, uh, the reasons why when we see you again. Here's a good question: when did comics die? Oh my god, man! Comics will never die, as far as I'm concerned. I'm writing one
Uh,
right now. There's good comics
well,
out there. It's just, the bad thing is you have to go looking for them now
I
because
think he's referring to the big two.
oh, the big two.
Probably around 2016.
Yeah, yeah. When the big push to gender bend every damn Marvel character and every DC and make every DC. Let me be clear here: gender bend all the Marvel characters and turn all the DC characters gay. That's about the time that they died. Yeah,
Yeah, but they were slowly dying. They kept before that. They were
I knew
the
Noc
other
had
zombie
good
fight
taste. He
husk.
says he liked the Thing. All right, very
Good,
cool.
good.
Yep, yep. Something tells me we're going to be talking about the Thing here in a little bit. But yeah, did you like the episode? What'd you think of this
Yeah,
one?
I
What?
liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was better than the first one. I didn't have any real problems following the first one. So,
yeah, I
but
did.
I mean, yeah, it's because um,
It's because I'm old.
yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but
Yeah.
you know, no, I
Oh,
wasn't
I'll
going
say
to
it.
at
I'll
all.
say it. I'll say it in 2 seconds. Yeah.
But no, I liked it. I especially liked the scenes with Sylvie in interacting with them at that McDonald's was cool. And then you got that last scene when she's just sitting up on her truck.
Yeah.
Like you can tell she's really
I love
not
when she
into.
went on break and lowered the tailgate and sat on tailgate. I was like,
Yeah,
look at this. Redneck Sylvie. That's
yeah.
awesome. I thought that was cool as shit. All right, Tim. We'll see you in a little bit, man. He said he had to go eat dinner. But yeah, we'll see how the next one goes. I'm really not that invested in the show, though. I got to tell you, because it just, I don't know. I don't know. It just seems to me like with what we've heard, and this is just a guy that covers this stuff that pays attention to everything that's going on behind the scenes. The fact that they're rebooting Daredevil completely, they can't get Blade off the ground. This whole schedule, I really can't put any investment in what they're doing because it sure sounds like they're going to redo the whole damn thing anyway. So, you know, it's hard for me to get invested in this. It really is. I tell you the show I'm watching right now that I'm
Oh,
enjoying the heck out of. Go ahead.
I forgot. Miss Minutes has been. That's why she left because she's working with Renslayer.
Okay. Okay, I got you. Miss
You know,
Minutes, the older looking chick that was there.
no, the AI,
Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, I got you.
the
The
little
clock
clock.
face. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, got you. Damn, I got some popcorn in my throat. Um, but yeah, we'll keep covering it for you guys. I'll keep watching it. I'm not promising I'll like every episode, but this one was okay. It was better than the first one, that's for sure. The first one confused the shit out of me. I was like, what the hell? Why is his face gonna melt off? I don't understand. What? But anyway,
yeah.
yeah. So let's get into the main subject of the month, one of my favorite holidays, Halloween. We're gonna get in some Halloween movies we like, man. And not all of them are slashers and stuff like that. And I came up with my top five. Did you come up with a top five?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have zero slashers on mine because I'm not a big slasher fan.
Well, one might say that uh, my number one is the father of all slasher movies. But it's I don't know if you can say that really, but we'll get into it. At number five, I have the one, and guys, you're gonna have to excuse me. It's gonna be very heavy on John Carpenter for me. It just is because I'm a big fan. I love the guy. I think he's awesome. I've seen everything he's ever done. Uh,
I
I
have
could
two.
make. I really just threw a couple in here just to mix up the John Carpenter because I could make my top five horror movies I've ever seen that I love all John Carpenter movies. But the first one is the one that Noc said he just watched.
The thing.
This movie really, I got to tell you, is one of the best. Probably, I'd have to say one of the best remakes ever made. And if you don't know the lore behind it, this is a remake of The Thing from Another World from the 50s, a Howard Hawks classic. um, it but it goes back to the source material. Now, the Howard Hawks film had James Arness as a plant-based monster that they found in the Arctic, right?
Yeah.
And whenever they cut an arm off, it would grow back, and they ended up electrocuting him and stuff, and to get rid of him. He was a pile of ash when they were done electrocuting him. And but in this one, they went back to the source material. Now, the source material it's a short story called "Who Goes There." I can't remember where it was originally published or anything, but John Carpenter decided he wanted to go back to the source material because he dug it. And in this one, the Thing can take the place of someone. It can morph into somebody else. And it's amazing fun. That movie is right there. John Carpenter, of course, directed it. Came out in 1982. It's rated R. The animatronics and the physical special effects in this movie are off the freaking chain. I mean, they're exactly why Fangoria magazine was so popular back in the day. The stuff they put together for this movie, and none of them were miniatures either. They were, I mean, they were all really huge puppets and models. The animatronics they did. What's up?
Who Goes There was written by John W. Campbell. It first appeared in Astounding Science Fiction in a 12-chapter version.
Okay.
And then it also showed up in Adventures in Time and Space.
Wow.
But yeah, originally came out in 1938.
1938. That's how old this story is. Yeah. But the cast, it's one of the best casts you'll ever see too. These guys, a lot of them did a lot. Keith David, of course, is a John Carpenter veteran. And Kurt Russell, this is about the time that Kurt Russell was trying to break out of his Disney mold. And this really did it right here, this movie right here. And I love his hat he wears in that movie. It's freaking great looking with that flap, bent up like what was that old World War II movie where the or television show Hogan's Heroes? That one
Hogan's
guy
Heroes,
had the hat
yeah.
flipped up. Yeah. Wilford Brimley's in it, who I love. Let's see who else that people might recognize from horror movies. Donald Moffat played a lot of horror movies back then. But yeah, it's just
Adrienne Barbeau.
Adrienne Barbeau is the computer's voice in it.
Yep.
Yeah, she was married to him back then. Yeah, we were all jealous of John back then. Yeah, because that girl was a babe. Everybody was in love with Adrienne Barbeau.
John Carpenter's in it as well.
Was he in it?
Yeah, he's like one of the Norwegians.
Is he?
Yep.
Yeah, he always had little cameos in his movies.
Oh,
yeah. But anyway, yeah, loved this freaking show right here. It's definitely number 5 on my top 5 horror movies ever made. What's your number 5, man? What you got?
Mine, I'm sharing it if you want to share.
Okay.
It's Nightbreed.
Nightbreed. Oh man, fantastic!
Written by Clive Barker, directed by Clive Barker.
I have no Clive Barker on my list. I'm so glad you do. I almost put Hellraiser on there, but yeah, Nightbreed is great, dude. That movie is awesome. Love that flick. Now, if you don't know what Nightbreed's about, guys, it goes on the premise that, the monster in the closet and the thing under the bed and all this stuff, they're all real. And what's the name of the place they live in?
Midian.
What is
Midian's where the monsters live. Midian.
That's it. Midian's where the monsters live.
It's all true. God's an astronaut.
Yep.
I forgot the rest of the quote. Something, and Midian's where the monsters live.
And Midian's where the monsters live. That's right. But what's really cool about it is the beginning of it, it's a tale of a guy finding himself. The main character, who played the main character in it, man? I can't remember that
Oh,
kid's name.
I can't either.
He
Craig
really
Schaefer.
looks a lot like the guy, Craig Schaefer. He
Yeah.
looks a lot like the guy that was on Bones and Angel. He looks a lot like that dude, but it's not
Yeah.
him.
No, it's not him.
But he plays a guy that finds out he's one of the Nightbreed. You know, he's one of the people from Midian. Let's see. Knox says, I told my dad that I was watching The Thing. He said, no, don't watch the 80s watch the original. Haha. So I have to watch that one too. And he said I had to watch Ice Pirates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to watch Ice Pirates. Yes.
Yes, you do. You do have to watch Ice Pirates. Nightbreed looks a lot like Stranger Things.
It's got that kind of feel to it.
It's got that kind of feel to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. Hey, Wookie, how you doing? I got a thing for you, he says. Nightbreed is in my top 10. Yes. Friggin' Nightbreed is awesome. But it goes on the premise that these monsters are real, and there is a crazy ass psychiatrist. It's one of the greatest supporting roles ever because he's a really good horror director himself. If you're into body horror, then you know the name of David Cronenberg. And he's a great director. Did The Fly remake with Jeff Goldblum in it. It's probably what he's best known for, but he's made a bunch of movies. They're fantastic. And Scanners, the Exploding Head movie, if you remember that one from back in the day, it's one of his early ones. I always loved The Brood. I thought that was a great movie with God, what's his name? The guy that dies in Gladiator, the older guy, Oliver
Reed.
Oliver Reed. That's it. Yeah, he's in The Brood. If you've never seen that one, go look that one up. But Cronenberg's character is a psychopath that is jealous of the monsters. Yeah, he's learned about him being a psychiatrist, and he wants to find them and kill them. And it is just, it's a great movie. You need to check it out. It's really cool, man. I'm glad that one's on your list, dude. I love that one.
My favorite line from the movie is the sheriff talking to Schaefer's character after he realizes that things are not quite what they seem.
And
he's like, I got a dead guy in my cell. Not lying down dead, walking around my fucking cell down.
That's funny. Yeah, that was good. That was a good one. Let's see. I say that because it was a trailer for Stranger Things when John pulled up that title. Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was making a joke. It's hard to make jokes whenever you're typing, dude, because they come in late. But yeah, Nightbreed's a great one, and I love Clive Barker. I remember the first book I ever read by that guy. It was called Damnation Game. It was about a guy that played cards with the devil during World War II, and he spent the rest of his life trying to run away from him because he had lost his soul in the friggin' card game. And, you know, you find that out as the book goes on. But I just remember the quote that was on the back of the book. It said, I've seen the future of horror, and its name is Clive Barker. And it was a quote by Stephen King.
Yep.
So, yeah. And you know what's funny? My mom is from the part of Maine that Stephen King's from, and I don't have one Stephen King movie on this list. His stuff just doesn't translate well to film. You know, not many of them have done it successfully.
I only like a few of his books anyway. I mean, I'm not really big on a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't read a lot of horror in and of itself, but I have read pretty much everything Clive Barker's written.
Yeah. Clive Barker is a trip, and it's not for the squeamish guys. This guy gets pretty gross. He does. My favorite Clive Barker movie is Lord of Illusions. I love that one. I mean, Hellraiser's good. Everybody knows him for Hellraiser.
Yeah.
But I think that's the first one he directed. But I love Lord of Illusions. I think their take on magic in that one is awesome. Yeah, have you seen that one with Scott Bakula?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a great flick. I love it. Okay. The next one on my list, number 4, is the movie that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And it just had a sequel come out just recently. I watched this when I was 8 years old at my aunt's house, and then I had to walk my little brother home uh, in the dark, a couple of blocks, not very far. I mean, but the world seems a lot bigger when you're a kid, you know. And yeah, 1973's The Exorcist scared the living shit out of me. That movie scared the hell out of me. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's an exorcism story, and but it's what I think what makes it really eerie. It's almost shot documentary style, you
Yeah.
know, like you're along for the ride and just watching what happens. Uh, it's well, first of all, the special effects in it were really good. They did a great job on it. Um, Linda Blair, her career was tainted for the rest of her life after this. I mean, she was pretty much pigeonholed into stuff like this, and she tried to get out of it, but this is what she's always been known for. And she was, God, how old was she when she made that movie? I don't even remember. She was a kid, but and I think she went on to appear in like two more sequels, not the direct sequel, but I think she was in a couple more of the sequels. But Max von Sydow as Father Marin and
Yeah.
Lee J. Cobb. I mean, yeah, these were great actors. Jason Miller plays Father Karras. Um, and I just, Ellen Bernstein, she's in the new one that just came out, from what I
Oh, is she?
understand. Yeah, she's got a part in it. I thought she'd be dead by now, but yeah, she's in the newest one. But yeah, this movie will scare the poop out of you, especially if you're a believer. It's I like the end of it, and everything. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but it's got what I think is a hopeful ending to it. But uh, yeah, The Exorcist is number 4 on my list. It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, man. What do you think
Cool.
of that one there, John?
Oh, I like The Exorcist.
Yeah,
It
it's
just didn't make my list. I mean, because I've got a weird list.
yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's list is going to be different. When you ask somebody to come up with their top 5, like later on, we're gonna come up with our top 5 favorite movies of all time to add to Noc's list,
Yep.
and he's going to have to go back and check it out and see which ones he's seen, which one he's not. But guarantee you, the ones we're talking today are S's. Every last one of them. You've got to see them. You know what I mean? But yeah, The Exorcist. That's a great one. You ready for your
Yep.
next one?
Yep. My next one's actually a sequel to something.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Halloween 3, Season of
Halloween
the Witch.
3, Season of the Witch.
It's my
Good one,
favorite
man.
Halloween movie.
Good one. That's your favorite Halloween movie? Yeah, you're
Yep.
not into slashers.
I'm
Yeah.
not into slasher, so when this one came out, I'm like, oh, I'm down with this.
Right.
It
Right.
all the whole movie revolves around all the kids want this silver shamrock branded mask because they're the best masks on the market. They're
Right. They have a
cheaper, they look
pumpkin.
better.
Let me see if I remember. It's a pumpkin, a skull, and a witch,
Yep.
right? Isn't that what they
Yep.
are? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But what it is there's a plot that they're using a combination of these masks and a circuitry and like the button on the back of the mask and signals from the TV on a TV show that all the kids want to watch to activate this to brainwash all the children into doing this guy's bidding. So he blends sorcery, ancient magics, and
I was fixing to say it's
technology.
magic and technology, a
Yep.
blend of both. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when it was supposed to be. What they were planning on doing with Halloween was they were going to make it an anthology and tell different scary stories at this point. And much to the chagrin of many, me included, it wasn't successful because everybody was confused. Where's Michael Myers at? Damn it! What? Where's our boy with the butcher knife? Right? They just couldn't get into it. But this movie has gained a cult following since it came out.
Oh yeah.
I dig it. I think it's awesome. It's got, as a matter of fact, the guy that's the main character in this. What is the actor's name, man?
Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins, yeah, he's actually the male lead in the one I have up next. He was in a lot
Huh.
of horror movies back then.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, talk about a great off the beaten path movie right there. A lot of people don't talk about Halloween 3. That's a great one, buddy. That one's oh man, that picture, scroll back up. The first yeah, the first, that's what I remember the most is him yelling into the phone at the end of it, man.
Yep.
That was friggin' cool, dude. That's cool stuff. Yeah, Halloween 3 is one of the best horror movies you're ever going to see. But it
Oh
has
yeah.
nothing to do with Michael Myers, has nothing to do with Laurie Strode, has nothing to do with Haddonville, Illinois. None of that.
Nope.
It is totally its own one shot a movie. Like I said, they were going to make an anthology, kind of like, you saw Tales from the Crypt. It was a bunch of stories. That's what Halloween was going to become. What's funny is, we'll get into it because it's on my list.
Okay.
The
All
first
right.
one is on my list.
Okay.
And we'll get into it when we do. There's my girl right there. And
Yep.
speaking of her, the next one on my list is starring Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's
Oh, The
another John
Fog.
Carpenter movie, The Fog, and it's got Adrienne Barbeau, that girl that we were all in love with back then. All jealous of John Carpenter because of her being in it, and this one, I'm a big pirate fan. This one has pirates in it. Imagine a
Yep.
horror movie with pirates, man. The Fog is fantastic. It really is. If you've never seen it, it's a ghost story. Right down I mean, look, you can say what you want about John Carpenter. The aesthetic he gives his films is awesome. John Houseman uh, tells a story around a beach fire with a bunch of kids. And
Yep.
I think it's Adrian Barbeau's son that's in the scene listening to the story, right? At the beginning of it. I think he's one of the
I'm not
kids.
sure. I'm not
I
sure.
think he is. And he tells the story of this group of uh, pirates who had what they were lepers, I think, and they were looking for a place to live, and they drew them into the rocks with a false fire to get rid of them because people were so scared of the leprosy, and that's how it starts. And wow, what a great ride that movie is. I don't want to say any more about it because if you've never seen The Fog, don't watch the remake. The remake sucks. I went and paid to go see that in the theater, and I was so upset for even paying a dime to go see that because I was a big fan of this one,
Yeah.
And wow, but
I forgot Janet Leigh was in it.
yeah, Janet Leigh. This is the only movie that Janet Leigh and her daughter Jamie Lee Curtis were in. Now, if you
Yep.
don't know who Janet Leigh was, she's the one. She's the girl from Psycho. She's the
Yep.
one from the shower scene in Psycho. Yeah, and her. She was married to Tony Curtis, and that's when she gave birth to Jamie Lee Curtis, and that's her daughter. Um, but yeah, man,
Al
what a
Holbrook's
great
the
cast!
priest.
Adrian Barbeau, John Houseman, Tom Atkins. I mean, they've got some really good actors in here, man. It was a great show. It really was. Hal Holbrook plays Father Malone.
Yeah,
What a
he's the
name for the
priest.
father, right? He's an Irish fucking dude that drinks all the time.
Yep.
And the cameo that John Carpenter has in this one is when he's asking for his paycheck from Father Malone when he's leaving for the day, right?
Yeah.
And he tells him, you can come in a little later tomorrow. Okay, got your money, but that's him in that scene. But yeah, I love The Fog. It's a great ghost story. And ghost stories are almost a genre unto themselves, and this is a really unique one. I think it's great.
Yep.
What's next on your list, Big Daddy?
A little movie from 1979 called Alien.
Oh, yes, Alien.
And before you start saying it's sci-fi, yes, it is sci-fi, but it's primarily a horror movie.
It's
It
sci-fi,
is-
but that's a horror movie. I don't give a shit what you
The
say.
sci-
That
the
is a
sci-fi-
scary flick.
It's just set in the back. The background's an alien, and it's an alien, but it's still horror because it has all the beats of a horror movie.
Yes, it does. It most definitely does. It much like The Thing, they find this spaceship in the middle of nowhere and they go and investigate it, right? And that's when all hell starts breaking loose.
Yep.
But boy, the lore behind that dinner scene is something else.
Oh, yeah.
If you know anything about it. Oh my gosh, everybody's heard of the chest bursting scene. And what was amazing about it and why it was so effective is only the actor who was involved, who had the thing popping out of his chest, knew what was going to happen. The rest of them didn't know. They knew something was going to happen, but they didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
And they mechanically had something pop in his chest and squirt shit out. And it, watch that movie again sometime with that knowledge. Yeah, the look on Yaphet Kotto's face is
Yeah.
just priceless, man. He looks scared to death.
All the reactions are real.
Yeah, it's great, man.
And I mean, this has an all-star cast too.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, Harry Dean Stanton, Ian Holm,
Yep.
Veronica Cartwright.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all people that have broken out in other movies.
Oh yeah, big time. Tom Skerritt's Mr. Top Gun. Everybody knows that.
Yep.
You know, Sigourney Weaver. You can't say enough about her.
Right.
She could be, if she wanted to go to Comic Cons the rest of her life, she could. Just off
yeah.
of this and Ghostbusters, this series, this franchise, Ghostbusters, Avatar.
Galaxy Quest. I mean, and Galaxy Quest
and Galaxy Quest. Yeah, I mean,
yep.
He's been in so much stuff. But John Hurt is a great actor. He's the guy from with the chest bursting scene. Veronica Cartwright, she didn't really become a big huge name, but
no.
she was in a lot of movies too.
Yeah.
And Harry Dean Stanton, who doesn't know who that guy is?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you know. And Ian Holm. Ian Holm's a great actor too. That whole bunch is great. And the movie's fantastic. What is it? Is it Richard Geiger? Is that the guy who did the production art? I know
H.R. Geiger.
H.R. Geiger, that's it. I knew it was Geiger was the last name. That guy's artwork he did, the production art is amazing. If you've never seen the art of Alien, you need to check that out because they really did a good job, especially like that first alien that they found in that chair. That's I can't believe they made something as close to his artwork as that because it really looked a lot like what he wrote. Let's see. Wookie says, I'm having food from Joe's area. Nice. What are you having? Some shrimp, bro? Or are you having some crawfish?
Gumbo.
You having crawfish or shrimp? It's one of the two.
Gumbo. He's having gumbo.
Gumbo, maybe? Yeah. Let's see. He said Gator etouffee. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Yeah. There you go. That'll work. This piece of popcorn is killing me, dude. But yeah, Alien, that's one of the best horror movies ever made. And yes, I don't consider that a sci-fi movie. I consider that one a horror movie. Kind of like I always tell people, if you like action movies, watch Aliens. But if you like horror movies, watch Alien. Watch the original one. You know? Yeah. So, but anyway, okay, that's a good one, man. We're up to number 2. Number 2 on my list is kind of a B movie, but I got to tell you, you want to talk about one that's built a cult following over the years. It is a trip. This movie is crazy. It's called Phantasm. If you've never seen this movie, it is a trip. It has sci-fi elements to it. And it's all about it opens with the murder of a guy in a graveyard, and whenever the funeral comes around, the friends and a brother of one of the guys, weird shit starts happening to them, and they meet this guy called the Tall Man. What's the actor's name? Played the Tall Man. He is so good, man. Where is he? There he is, Angus Scrimm, and he ended up being in all the sequels they made of this thing. You know, I've never seen a sequel to this. I've only seen the first one. The sequels to me just felt like a cash grab. Yeah. You know what I mean? This one this didn't need a sequel, if you ask me. It really didn't. But oh man, I'm sitting here looking at this trailer going, dude, I've got to watch this movie during Halloween this year. It is so great. You know, the Tall Man is the guy at the mortuary that takes care of their friend's body and everything. And man, I really don't want to give anything away. If people haven't seen it, you're always going to remember the silver ball and the Tall Man. The silver ball is kind of like the guardian of the mortuary when the Tall Man's not around. It has these prongs that come out and if it gets you, it'll get you in the head and it'll suck all the blood out of your body and shit. It's crazy, man. That's a great movie. It really is. What did you think of this one, John?
Oh, I love Phantasm.
Yeah,
And as you can see on screen, it does get a little
it's a little gross. Yeah.
uh,
But it's like early what was it, 79? It's got it's not really, it's kind of cheesy. They really weren't high tech with the blood and stuff then, you know what I mean? uh but it's great. Wookie says, I love Phantasm, all of them. I have not seen any of the other ones, man. I'll have to check them out one day, but I
yep.
just I just love the first one so much that the rest of them, it probably ruined it for me, man. You know what I mean? Just the revelations that they find out about this guy and what's going on at the mortuary is just awesome. I thought it was fantastic, and it's got killer Jawas. So
Yeah.
if you're a Star Wars fan like Wookiee and Noc, you need to watch this movie, because imagine if Jawas tried to kill you. Yeah, they've got killer Jawas in it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Let's see. What do you got up here, buddy? Let's see.
Number 2.
What's his number
It's a
2?
movie called Event Horizon.
Event Horizon. I don't think I've ever seen this one. I hear about it a lot around this time of year, but
Now this is another sci-fi movie, but it's Cthulhu-esque.
okay.
Basically, this ship, Lewis and Clark, gets lost for 7 years and finally comes back into the solar system. So a crew's sent out to investigate what happened, why nobody's there.
Yeah.
Well, turns out the drive taps into another dimension, and things start spiraling out of control with the various eldritch horrors that you can imagine.
Yeah. Wookie says it's another banger. Tim says I'm back. Noc says, oh man, I dug Event Horizon. It's really good. Definitely recommend. Yeah. All right. Good stuff.
Let's see. Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, Jason Isaacs, Sam Pertwee, Kathleen
Lawrence
Quinlan.
Fishburne and Sam Neill in the same movie. I'm going to have to check that out. No doubt.
Yep.
Because I love both of them, man. I've heard a lot about this movie. I've just never seen it. Never did watch that one. I love how they're showing Star Trek on the friggin' page for this.
Yeah. That's a horror in and of itself.
Right? That's a horror in and of itself. Oh my gosh. Tim says, but that is the STD playing. Yeah, he's talking about Star Trek. Yeah. I don't understand what's up with that. Sometimes they don't have a trailer for these things, and that's
well, they have the trailer, but it's already passed, because I bring these up and while you're doing your thing.
Yep. All I have to do is hit refresh and it'll start over, bro. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Blammo. And it'll start right over. See? Check it out. Now you can see what's going on with it. All right, man. Event Horizon. I'll have to do some homework and watch that one. No doubt.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
Wow. It looks cool. Did I just see? Hang on. Show that cast list again. Is that got our British guy in it? Yeah. Jason Isaacs. No shit. He's in it. Wow. That's awesome. Very cool, man. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, my number one, everybody knows what my favorite horror movie is. It's all about Halloween. Michael Myers for me, dude. Love me some Michael Myers. And of course, The Thing is playing because it's a John Carpenter movie. But yeah, this is the one that put John on the map right here. No doubt about it. And they're not showing, I just refreshed this thing and they're not showing the Halloween trailer on here. Yikes. But that's a good one right there. They're showing a bunch of his movies is what they're doing.
Yeah. It's a, there's like it's called Through the Lens of John Carpenter.
Yeah.
It's a
documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right. But John and Deborah Hill wrote it, and the original name of this movie was actually The Babysitter, is what it was going to be called. And they decided that didn't carry enough weight. They wanted to give it a more chilling name, so they made it Halloween, and man, it's movie history. They've made how many of these now? My gosh, they rebooted it just recently and put the they did what this seems to be a trend here lately. What they'll do is they'll take a franchise and they'll say, okay, this is a direct sequel to the first one, right? And just act like the rest of the chapters didn't even happen, right? Seems to be a trend they're doing with some of these series now. And they did that with this one. And the first one was really good. Me and my buddy went and saw it in the theater because we're big fans, you know. Halloween, what was it? It was just, I think it was just called Halloween. And then it was Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The sequels were stupid as shit, but that first one was actually pretty good. The
Yeah,
whole
I like
thing
the
with
first one.
having Lori being a survivalist with all this, you know, traps and shit in her house, and you know, being a gun-toting granny,
Makes sense.
thought it was really cool. Yeah, yeah. Excuse me, made perfect sense. But yeah, man, Donald Pleasance, who we love from his movies,
Yeah.
was in it. Tony Moran played Michael Myers when he was 23 years old. That's the guy that I guess that's from the scene at the psychiatric ward when he stole the car from him.
Yeah.
I think he's called the Shape in the credits. The guy that actually played him walking around. I think that's what he's called, is the Shape, and I don't think they have him listed here.
And that mask he wears is an inside out spray painted
it's a beat up William Shatner mask.
Shatner
Yeah.
mask
Yeah. Captain Kirk mask is what it is. Yeah. I thought that was funny as hell when I found that out. Yeah. But it's got my girl, the Queen of Scream. That's what they called her back then, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah.
And shoot, man, there's a bunch of different people in here. PJ Souls is in it. If you ever saw Stripes, she was in that movie too. She's a cutie. It was just an all around great, fun movie. I know you don't like slashers, but the thing I like, and the reason why it's number one on my list, is it's a slasher movie, and a lot of people say it began an age of slasher movies. I mean, Freddy came out shortly after this, and the Friday the 13th movies. I mean, you know, but this one, there's barely any blood in this movie. Yep. It's not gory. It's just scary, you know?
That's why I like this better than the others.
Yeah, it's not bloody.
I don't mind gory because I like, you know, I've got gory movies on my list.
Yeah,
but
of course.
It's the reason for the gore that matters.
The whole thing that's really cool about it, and the thing I didn't like about the Rob Zombie movie was he tried to make Mike have a bad upbringing. He killed animals as a kid. You know, he basically tried to make him look like a psychopath from an early age.
Yeah.
That's not the deal. The whole thing that made him so scary was he was a 6-year-old kid that stabbed his sister to death for no damn reason whatsoever. Just picked up a knife one day and did it. And the whole thing in the movie is he a man or is he the boogeyman? And if you read the book, it tells you the lore behind it. He's a human, but he's been imbued with the spirit of the boogeyman, and it tells you, you know, the more of the lore behind that. Yeah. But I like how they don't slap you in the face with it in the original movie. They don't tell you that stuff. But I mean that scene at the end of it, it's so great. When Jamie Lee looks at the doctor and says he really was the boogeyman, and the doctor, a psychiatrist that knows all this shit about humans and the way they act, looks at her and goes, as a matter of fact, he was. You know, I mean, it just made it really scary. The whole buildup was what did it, man. They didn't need any gore to scare you. Yeah. You knew this guy was coming, and he was going to be hard to stop, no doubt. You know, it was very cool. But anyway, that's my number one. What do you got for number one there, John?
My number one, Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness.
the third of the Evil Dead trilogy.
Oh my god! Oh my god! How great is that? That's
Perhaps one of the most awesome horror movies ever made.
yep, yep. My stepson David, this is his favorite movie. If he had to come up with his top 5 favorite movies, this would be number 1. He loves it. Uh, oh my gosh, what can you say about this movie? It is absolutely crazy. Um, I, I laugh at this movie. I don't know if it's scary. You know what I mean?
It's funny. I mean, it is horror.
Yeah, I
It
know
has a
it's
lot of
horror.
horror in it, but
Yep.
it's also funny. It's a horror
Yep.
comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, it does kind of like what American Werewolf in London did. You know,
Yeah.
one minute you're laughing your ass off, the next minute you're scared shitless. You know, it's one of those kind of movies, man. And that's hard to pull off, let me tell you. It really is. But yeah, that's a great one, man. You kidding me? Primitive Screwheads. This is my
Yep.
boomstick.
Stick. This movie's endlessly quotable.
Yeah, it is. Big time. And it's done by Sam Raimi, who
Yep.
did the first 3 of them, right? He did the first 3 Evil Dead movies, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did
He did.
Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. That's number 3 in the trilogy, the original trilogy that he did. And established Bruce Campbell as his main man.
Yep.
No doubt. I don't think I've ever seen a movie by Sam Raimi that didn't have Bruce Campbell in it at some point. You know,
he's in all the Spider-Man.
He's in all the Spider-Mans. The first Spider-Man, he's the wrestling announcer that gives him his name, actually.
Yeah.
Right? Calls him the Amazing Spider-Man because he wants to be the human spider, right? The second one, he was the usher at the theater.
The usher. Yep.
Right? That wouldn't let him go into to the theater because he was late.
Yep.
And then the third one, he's the maitre d' at the fresh restaurant.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, dude, Bruce Campbell's something else, man. You know what my favorite cameo with him in it, though, is? It's from Sam Raimi's first attempt at a comic book type character, and that's Darkman. Yep. I love the fact that he's the face that he put on to get away from his girlfriend so he couldn't find her at the end of it. I thought that was cool as shit.
Yeah.
Really did.
Well,
and if you watch those movies, the way that one ends and the way Spider-Man ends, I mean, it has the same beats. It has the same tempo.
Yep.
He says, "I'm everyone. I'm no one." Right? I'm Darkman. And when Pete's walking away, what does he say? This is my gift. This is my curse. I'm Spider-Man. Right? Yeah. You can definitely tell that was his attempt at a superhero movie. It's got Liam Neeson in it, and I love that one. But yeah, love Sam Raimi stuff. Love Army of Darkness. Love Bruce Campbell. I mean, you want to watch something crazy? Watch this movie. It is a trip. It really is. Well, all those Evil Dead movies are, but this is the best one. It really is.
And they just did on Toxic Tuesday. They just did Evil Dead 2.
Did they?
Yep.
So they must be doing this one soon. They got to be.
Yeah, eventually, I'm sure.
You would imagine.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tim says Sean Pertwee, a son of Doctor Who.
Yeah, he's the son of the third Doctor.
Okay, cool. It's a reboot of a reboot. And
talking about Halloween.
Yeah, right. When this film came out, I believe they put the head of 2 people I know, husband and wife, that worked with my father on the poster as a gag. Really? Wow. That's cool. Next week, I believe. Okay, so that is the Halloween movies that you guys. That's me and John's playlist for Halloween, and none of them are the same. I didn't think they would be. Didn't think they would be the same. Now next week we're going to talk more about maybe some. I think we'll come up with some obscure horror movies, maybe that is some off the beaten path ones. I think I'm definitely going to talk about Scanners next week because I love that movie. I don't know if I think that leans more into the sci-fi side of things, but it is kind of scary.
It's got some horror beats to it.
Yeah. We're also going to talk about. You can't go through Halloween without talking about the Final Girls, man. You can't do it. You
Got to have a
cannot
Final
do it.
Girls episode.
We got to talk some Jamie Lee Curtis, some Nev Campbell, some oh god, the clone of my second ex-wife there, Jennifer Love Hewitt. We got to talk about the
Yeah.
girls, man. You know me. I love my girls. Tim says my annual Halloween film I watch is Riff Trax version of Night of the Living Dead. Riff Trax version?
The guys behind Mystery Science Theater 3000, when they stopped doing Mystery Science Theater 3000, they started this other thing called Riff Tracks. Same thing. Okay. It's just not doesn't have the story behind
that
it.
That sounds awesome, man. That sounds awesome. Well, I tell you what, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with, I mean, if you watch the first Halloween movie, watch Halloween and then watch the movies that they show in there. Because he put his favorite movies on the television that the kids were watching that night. I think he started with The Thing from Another World, and then later on during the night, Night of the Living Dead is on, the original. You know, so you can't go wrong watching those three movies, no doubt. I didn't have one zombie movie on my list. We might have to do our favorite zombie movies too. We might have to do that too.
Technically, Army of Darkness, the Deadites could be zombies.
You could call them zombies, I guess, but yeah, we'll talk about some zombie stuff. I mean, I can show you guys. My wife is a huge Walking Dead fan. She has met so many people on that cast. It's not even funny. But we're going to do some more Halloween next week because it's one of my favorite. I'll actually pull from the vault. I will pull out some pictures of me and Foxy dressed up for Halloween's when the kids were, because we always dressed up. Well, the whole tradition around here, John, was this: at around 5:00, right before the sun was fixing to go down, when I still had light, I would carve the pumpkin out front. All the neighborhood kids, you know, they all knew I was an artist, so they would come over and get their faces painted if they needed for the costume, right? I would do it for free for them. And then we gave out candy the rest of the night. I always had Halloween playing outside on something, a TV set. You know, later on it was laptops and shit, you know. But yeah, always did that. And love Halloween, man. Love it's one of my favorite holidays. Let's see. When you still had light and hair. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that, man. Matter of fact, one year I had my hair growing really long and I got too busy to friggin' put together a costume. So you know what I did? I put on my Tom Brady jersey and a cap, a Patriots cap. And I said, I'm Tom Brady in the off season. And I think Rhonda dressed up as Laura Croft that year, which is really easy to do. That's one of the easiest cosplays to do. All you have to do is find a tank top and a pair of hot pants, and you're good to go pretty much. And some combat boots, you know. So, all right. So next up on our agenda is we've got to give Noc some homework while he's gone on vacation. We got some stuff for the Noc list. Now, he's not here to continue his lists and to give his reviews, but we're going to give him some movies that we think, personally, I came up with my top 5 movies ever. I mean, it's hard for me to do because I love movies, but I whittled it down to 5 movies you've got to see. Now, he's probably seen half of these, I would imagine, you know.
Yeah, I did. I've got my 5, but I keep bouncing some of them around. It's hard for me to put them in order.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, John's not putting his in order, but I
put mine in order. So it's just the order that it is right now.
He says, I'm a listening. Okay, Noc, then I want you to let us know if you have seen these movies or not. And if you haven't, grab you a pen and write it down and put it on your list, because all of these are S's. These are ones you have to see before you die. You got to see it, man, for sure. Okay. Let's see. The first one that I want to talk about, I got to pull up. I've been, sometimes I get so into the conversation, I forget what I'm doing. And this is kind of an eclectic thing you're going to see out of me here. There's many genres of movies on this list. The first one is actually a sports movie. He said, got it. He's ready. He's ready. He's all set. Okay. The first one I have is a sports movie. Well, what the heck? What happened there? Oh, shoot. Let me go back. Dead air. I know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, here we go. If I can get that off the screen, I'd be so proud. There it is. Okay. Guys, this is one of the greatest movies you'll ever see. It is a sports movie. And, Knock, you're going to hate this because I'm going to force you to watch a movie about the sport that you fucking can't stand. Look, I am not a big baseball fan. I think it's one of the worst things to watch on television. There's a reason why old men fall asleep in their chairs watching it because all you get is that one fucking camera shot behind the pitcher's ass. But let me tell you, some of the greatest films in Hollywood history have been made about this sport. And this one right here is on my list at number 5. It's The Natural, starring Robert Redford. This is it's almost not just it's not just a baseball movie. It's almost a myth. It's almost a mythological movie.
Yeah.
It's just it's a fictional story about what if there was one guy that was greater than everybody else and he had a turn of events in his life where he didn't fulfill what he was supposed to be. And it is just a fantastic story. If you've never seen this, the director's name is Barry Levinson. He's a very good director. He made several movies back in the day. And oh my gosh, let's see. He says, oof, that's going to be rough to watch. No, it's not. Believe me, man. It is a great movie. It's not just about baseball. It's really not. Um, there's some mystery aspects to it. There's some mythological things to it. Who was it that plays? I mean, none of the people are the actual people. It's kind of like a thing where the names have been changed to protect the innocent, kind of thing. But who's the
Yeah.
Babe Ruth guy? That's in it. I can't remember the actor that played him. Um,
They got an actor list there.
yeah, but I'm just trying to remember what the name of the character was. Yeah, Joe Don Baker, the Whammer. That was the Babe Ruth guy.
Yeah.
Joe Don Baker. Yeah. When he strikes that guy out at a freaking county fair, it's just awesome, man. It's great stuff. Sounds like he's a draft bust. Yeah. No, that's not what happened to him. You'd have to watch the movie and see. It's just a turn of events that happens to him, and later on in his life, he gets to help somebody, somebody that really needs his help, and you just have to see it. It's not just about baseball. That's why I'm saying you got to see it, Knock. It's not all about baseball. And I can't give it away. If I talk more about it, you won't understand how great the movie is and why it's that great. I mean, John, what do you think of that one, The Natural? Do you enjoy that one?
It was okay. I'm not a big baseball fan, so I mean, I
Yeah,
watched it once. It's a good movie. It's
yeah,
just not something that I'm going to watch multiple times.
yeah. I hear you. E. Clay Thomas says The Natural is like Field of Dreams for baseball. Yeah, exactly. It's got those mythological aspects to it. You know what I
Field
mean?
of Dreams is about baseball.
It is about baseball, yeah. But I think he's trying to say it's along the same lines. It's more
Oh, okay.
mythological than it is,
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Joe Don Baker loves his meatballs fried in lard. Yeah, no shit. Clay Thomas says hell. Yeah, that is number 5 on my list. I could have easily, to be truthful, Clay Thomas, I almost put Field of Dreams in this spot because those two movies really are interchangeable to me. They both have a mythological feel to them. They really do. But I like The Natural better just because, dude, that at bat at the height of the movie is just something
Yeah.
everybody's got to see at least once, even if you're not a baseball fan. It is so dramatic the way they do it. It's so awesome, man. Really is. Okay, what you got as number? Well, you're okay. Remember, John's is not in order. He
Yeah, it
couldn't
is.
put it
Yeah,
in
it
order.
is.
Oh, it
I
is.
put it in order. I put it in order,
Okay.
but it's the order that it is right now, subject to change.
Subject to change. Gotcha.
But
Well, all these lists are subject to change. You might see something
yeah,
tomorrow is the greatest thing ever, right?
yeah. But I put them. There, all these movies are always going to be in the top 5. It's just what order they are.
What order are they going to be in?
It depends on what
This
time.
one we've already talked about. We've got to set up for me and Knock to watch at the same time. Yeah,
Yep.
because neither one of us
Shawshank
has seen
Redemption.
it. I believe it or not, the movie guy has not seen this movie. I think the main reason why I never saw it, it's based on a Stephen King story, and his stuff just does not translate to film very well at all. So, tell me about this one again, man.
Well, basically, it's a story of a guy named Andy Dufresne who's framed for killing his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes to prison. He befriends another convict. It's about friendship. It's about life.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really good movie. It's like the tagline, like the description says. It's about redemption.
Yeah, it's a story of redemption. That's what I keep hearing. Um, uh, it's got Morgan Freeman. The main character is played by
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins, right? Who I've always dug Tim Robbins. I mean, he's kind of a dummy in real life, but I've always dug the movies he's in, man. I'm a big Howard the Duck fan, and what is that other movie? I tell you what, one of the weirder movies you'll ever see. You want to talk about a off the beaten path horror movie to watch? Watch Jacob's Ladder with him in it. Oh my god,
yeah.
That movie's off the chain right there.
It's weird.
And yeah, let's see. Tim says I have a soft spot for the old baseball jerseys in Field of Dreams. Yeah, I feel you. Yep, the Black Sox, right? What about Stand By Me? Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. But yes, that is a good Stephen King one for sure. Stand By Me is. Clay Thomas says, "Shame on you, Joe." Yeah, I know. I've never seen it, man. But me and Noc have plans to watch it together. They're the sisters in the film too. Okay, I'm lost on that one, but
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, it's a prison movie. That was another knock on it for me. I'm not into prison movies, but
well, the prison's just where it takes place,
right? It's kind of like what I told my wife about the Walking Dead. I said, look, the zombies are just the backdrop. It's actually a really great drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
This was directed by the showrunner for the Walking Dead.
Really?
Yeah, Frank Darabont or Darabont.
No kidding.
Yep, Darabont.
Huh. That's crazy, man.
Well, he also wrote. He also co-wrote the script with Stephen King.
Did he?
Yep.
Huh. Very cool, man. Well, Stephen King having a hand in the writing of it, that may be why it was so successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they try and adapt his scripts, I mean, the Carries are few and far between.
Yeah.
The Christines are few and far between. They just are. I mean, most of the stuff that they translate out of his books just isn't any good.
See the Dark Tower.
Oh God,
Don't see the tower. Don't see the Dark Tower.
You know what's jacked up? Let me tell you something. Since you brought that up, we might have to do a whole show about this. Trailers that were better than the movies they were for. Because when I saw the trailer for the Dark Tower, I jumped out of my chair. I was so ready to go see that, man. It looked awesome, didn't it? The trailer for the Dark Tower, the way he was, reloading it in midair and stuff, because that's what I read about. He sounded like a gunslinging Jedi in the book, the way he was reloading on the run and stuff. But man, you talk about a movie that just, first of all, barely scratched the surface of the lore of the Dark Tower. It's a 7-book series, guys, and they basically it was like a Reader's Digest version of it, and it didn't even hit all the big beats of the story. It just I mean, even two really talented guys like Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba couldn't polish that turd. They couldn't do it. So yeah, let's see. Tim says the sisters are the two guys who, in Shawshank. Okay. I don't know. I've never seen it, but maybe John can clarify that. I don't know.
I think he's referring to there's a couple of guys who go the other way while they're in prison.
Gotcha. But yeah, we have full plans of seeing the Shawshank Redemption. That's probably going to be the first one that I do a watch along on Discord, guys. My man Jed's going to teach me how to do that, and because there's two things I definitely want to do. I want to get together with Noc and watch Shawshank Redemption so we can share ideas about it on a show, And the other one is I want to introduce folks to V, the original miniseries. I really do. I think young folks need to see that show if they've never seen it. I have a physical copy of it. You know, back when I used to buy physical copies, I'm getting back to doing that too. Um, let's see. E. Clay Thomas says, "Yeah, the Dark Tower movie was disappointing. It damn sure was, dude. I was upset because I'm a big fan of the books. If you don't know, Stephen King's Lord of the Rings, if you will, was the Dark Tower series, and it was fantastic. It really was. It's not. It's not anywhere. I'm not saying it's anywhere near as good as Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Not at all. But that's the kind of story it is. It's very mythological, and it takes place on different worlds and stuff. It's pretty neat stuff. Um, Tim says, yes, John is right. Since I won't mess with the chat and the channel when it comes to the YouTube algorithm. I hear you, bro.
Yeah.
I hear you. I appreciate it too. I didn't know what you meant by that. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. My number 4 on my list. This is just now look, remember, this is my list. This is the shit I get into, guys. All right. And I happen to know that John gets into this stuff. I don't think this is on his list, but this is definitely on mine. The Towering Inferno is number 4 on my list. I am a huge fan of Steve McQueen. I'm a huge fan of Paul Newman, and I'm a huge fan of stunts in movies. My favorite Burt Reynolds movie ever is friggin' Hooper. You know, I'm just that kind of guy. I think these dudes are the unsung heroes of Hollywood, and there was a lot of stunt work in this movie, man. And
Oh yeah,
I dig this show. It's actually based on 2 books, The Glass Inferno and The Tower.
yeah.
2 books that came out around the same time about the same subject matter, and they made a movie. And you want to talk about this? Of course, anybody that's seen an Irwin Allen movie knows he gets all the older actors in Hollywood whose careers are near the end, just to be able to put their name on the marquee and draw people in for his big dramas. You know, there's Dabney Coleman when he was very young. Nobody even knew who he was yet. You know,
Yeah.
this movie came out in 1974. Yeah, all-star cast: Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, William Holden, Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire. He was an old man when he was in this movie. Susan Blakely, Richard Chamberlain, the king of the miniseries, was in this when he was a kid. Jennifer Jones, O.J. Simpson. Now, believe it or not, O.J. Simpson actually showed some acting chops in this show.
Yep.
Really did. Robert Wagner. I mean, Robert Vaughn. I mean, everybody, you know, from the old days of really television was in this. I mean, because Robert Vaughn was it Man from Uncle he was on?
Crap. Yeah.
I think that's the one he was on. But yeah, man, what a great show. What a great movie. Paul Newman is the architect, and Steve McQueen is the fire chief that has to deal with the coming disaster as the fire breaks out on 80. It's floor 83 that it breaks out on, and they have a big party for the christening of the building and everything going on, and it's something else. It's a great movie. It's a great adventure. This one, it's so long. Let's see, the running time on it is 2 hours and 45 minutes. I thought they could have used an intermission in this one when I went and saw it as a kid. I was like, man, I got to go to the bathroom, you know. But there are bathroom marks you can find in here. If you look up that app that Noc told us about, I can't even remember the name of that app. Tim says, and get a few bucks. This movie has OJ. Yeah, it does, man. There's a film in which OJ, believe it or not, plays a killer. The movie is The Klansman. Wow. Didn't know that, man. That's crazy. E. Clay Thomas says, my mom loved that movie, but I could never get much out of it. Oh, dude, I love it. Well, I tell you what's amazing in it, and John and I were on a show on That 70s Rock Fan when we did an entire show about this movie, and the miniature work in it is awesome. They use a lot of blue screen, or I think it was green screen or blue screen in it.
It was blue screen at the time.
It was blue screen, and the model of the building they had to make it itself 3 stories tall just to make the flames look real on it. Because if you put flames on something small, it's going to look stupid as hell. But the miniature work on this was awesome. The stunt work, just the story I love. It's an adventure story. It's a story of survival in a disaster. But the thing I love about it is the techniques they use to make this movie. This is all pre CGI, and it really looks real, man. It's really cool stuff. Let's see. Run P is the name of the ad. That's the ad you need to download to find out where to go to the bathroom in this one. I would suggest, if you have to go to the bathroom in this one, there's a very famous stairwell scene where Paul Newman has to get 2 kids and a woman down a blown up stairwell, and that's where you go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah,
because it takes a few minutes. Let's see. York, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. Disney Plus rewriting a boring Echo series, cutting topics they can't cover. Oh man,
they're saying it's a bot.
Yeah, is that a bot? Okay. Now we have CGI for that. Yeah, absolutely. I don't ever want them to remake this though. I'm telling you, if you watch this movie, it's amazing what they do with it.
Well, they kind of did.
Yeah.
Skyscraper with Dwayne Johnson.
See, I've never seen Skyscraper. I've never seen Skyscraper.
It's basically the modern version of the Towering Inferno. It's the same thing.
All right. Let's see.
But
there we go.
Yeah, and
thank you, Noc. I appreciate it, buddy. I need to make you a damn wrench on this channel is what I need to do.
Choosing my favorite disaster movie is like choosing among children.
Right. I hear you, brother. I hear you. I know. But that is hands down my favorite disaster movie. That's why it's number 4 on my list. Let's see what's number 4 on your list. Battle Beyond the Stars. Roger Corman representing on John's list. Wow.
I love Roger Corman movies, but dude. Yeah, this is basically this. It's the Magnificent Seven or the Seven Samurai.
Yep.
Redone in space.
Yep.
It's got a bunch of big name actors. That
it does.
You wouldn't think that would be in this, but they are.
But the lead guy is John Boy
from the Waltons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is 1980, so this is when Waltons were still on.
It was still on. Yeah.
Yep. So basically, I started calling Walton.
Right.
But he's like a farm kid, and he has to go out and find these people that are recruit people to defend his planet.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like these forces that are coming to wipe it out. This army.
Yeah, and they don't have warriors on his planet. Yeah.
No, they're all peaceful.
Yep.
But it's got George Papard,
George Papard. He was on 18 back then, I think.
Yeah.
It was either during while it was filming or shortly after
before.
He was on that show. Robert Vaughn, there he is again.
Yeah,
He's
Robert
everywhere.
Vaughn, playing basically the same character he played in the Magnificent Seven.
Yes. Yep.
John Saxon, Sybil Danning.
Tim says, I always thought this was a cheap Star Wars ripoff. One would think that it being a Corman movie, you jump to that conclusion, but man, if you see it, it's not. It's actually basically it's the Magnificent Seven in space. It's pretty cool, man. It's good stuff.
And
it really is.
For the time and the budget, it's got good special effects.
Yeah, it does. Matter of fact, I think Corman used some of the scenes from this in other movies. I think
he did,
because he spent so much money on it.
Yeah.
This was his. Yes, most definitely. Roger Corman was trying to make his own kind of Star Wars movie, but it's not Star Wars. It's definitely something different. Yeah. It's more like the Seven Samurai. Yeah, it's a good flick. I enjoy that one a lot, and I still ask the same question: is that tits or nuts on the bottom of that ship?
Those are tits.
I tend to think it's tits myself.
The ship's name is Nell.
There you go. It's a female ship, right? There you go. All right. Well, speaking of ships, let's see. Magnificent Seven is a Western, right? Yeah, it is. But the whole thing is they're hiring guns for hire kind of thing. And that's what John Boy Walton is trying to do here. He's trying to get a group of guys together to help defend his planet, is what he's doing. Yeah. Tim says Robert Vaughn also worked with Roger Corman on the Teenage Caveman. Really? I didn't know that. Wow. Very cool.
All right.
Well, speaking of ships,
what's your number 3?
Number 3. This is just a drop remote movie for me because I'm a big fan of the author, The Hunt for Red October. Now, if you don't know the lore behind the book, this book right here, it was the first one that Tom Clancy published. And when he put this book out, they called him into the White House, and the National Security advisor wanted to know how he knew everything that was in that book when it came to our defense. James Bond. He's an analyst. He's a brilliant guy. He's very smart. He can take information that the intel operatives give him and tell you exactly what's going to happen. And you see that in this film. But at the same time, you know, like the one with Kaczynski in it, I stopped watching it after the first episode because they kind of made him look like an action hero, and that's not what this guy is. You know, he's the guy that knows a lot of things, but he always ends up in the mix, even though he's trying not to, you know. Harrison Ford did a good job with the role, but who would believe that Harrison Ford doesn't want to get in a fist fight? You know, he automatically think he wants to punch a Nazi, right? So Alec Baldwin's portrayal of Jack Ryan is the best for any of the fans of the books, but it's got a great cast. I actually referenced this movie earlier this week because somebody asked on X without saying the Rocky Horror Picture Show, what's your favorite Tim Curry movie? Curry. And I put this one down. You know what I mean? But yeah, all-star cast. Sean Connery as Marco Ramius. Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. Scott Glenn is great as the friggin' boat commander that finds the Red October. Sam Neill is Sean Connery's first officer. I mean, the list goes on. James Earl Jones, the voice of a generation. He's in there as Jack Ryan's boss. I mean, you know, it's a great movie. If you've never seen Hunt for October, I find it hard to believe anybody hasn't seen this movie.
Peter Firth, who was in the movie we watched Monday from Military Monday.
Yep. Peter Firth is in it. He's oh yeah, that's right. He's the political officer. That's right.
He's the political officer. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. I got to go way back up here. My gosh. Okay, here we go. Tim says, as seen on Mr. Science 3000, probably talking about your Roger Corman movie. Knox says, my dad is a huge Tom Clancy fan. I've seen most of those movies. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I'm a big one too. Let's see. Yep, it's open source. If you know where to look, you can find it. Knox says, I read Patriot Games. He's an action hero. Haha. I hear you. Let's see. Alec Baldwin gave it his best shot. Yeah, he did. And Eclay says, yeah, Jack Ryan is supposed to be an analyst, not a soldier. That's right. That's the whole thing behind that character. He's supposed to be you and I. If we were in this situation, what would you do? You know what I mean? That's we're supposed to live this story through him. And that scene right there with the politician, and he's a great actor too. What is that fella's name? Oh my gosh, he's really good. Didn't he play the Phantom? No, that was somebody else. I do like that guy though. What is that dude's name? Oh yeah, Richard Jordan. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, but yeah, if you've never seen The Hunt for Red October, man, check that movie out. It's number 3 on my list because I'm telling you, I could put this movie on a loop and watch it forever. I really could. I love it. Okay, let's see what John's number 3 is.
October Sky.
October Sky. I don't know that I've seen that one, brother.
It
Tell
is
me.
the true story of Homer Hickman, who is a early father of the space program.
Okay.
He was a coal miner's son, expected to grow up and be a coal miner, but he got inspired by Sputnik and started building rockets with his friends, and got into rocketry and building rockets and stuff, and that's it. But it's Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Cooper, Laura Dern. Those are the big names that are in it.
Yeah. Sounds cool, man.
But it's just a really good story, and it's it happens to be a true story.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wow. So it's
what year did it come out?
99.
1999. Huh.
But he's
did he ever get involved in the space program?
Yeah, he does. He's the father of it.
Okay.
Or one of the fathers of the space program.
Okay.
Homer Hickam. But he's it really deals with the dynamic of a father and son. Father has one set of plans for the son, and the son has the other, and it's dealing with family dynamic. Now, Tim says he was in Nam too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's about that right age, yeah. Because this takes place in the 50s after Sputnik.
A-Clay says that's a good family movie.
It is.
And Tim says he was in Nam too. Wow. That's amazing, man. That sounds really cool. I'll have to check that one out. October Sky.
Yep.
All right. And that's number 3 on your list?
That's my number 3.
Okay. My number 2, Noc, you can put your pen down. You've probably seen this more than I have. But this one right here was the greatest movie-going experience of my life. It just was. It was the greatest day I ever had at the theater, and that's Return of the Jedi, 1983, the end of the original Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, this is number 2 on my list. I love this flick. I know usually the original is the one you pick, but this one here, the thing I love about this movie, it's almost like the roles get reversed between Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in this one. You know what I mean? Han becomes kind of the guy following, and Luke becomes the leader. You know what I mean? Kind of. I really think that this movie is the best of the series. Just the fact that, spoilers if you haven't seen it, George Lucas made the biggest bad guy in the galaxy the good guy in the end. I mean, that's hard to pull off, and he did it rather well. I mean, it's just amazing. I say it's the best time I ever had at the theater, because I went opening day to see it down in Metairie, Louisiana. And this is back when you couldn't get advance tickets. There was 80 people out there at 6:30 in the morning. Some of them had camped out all night, to get in line first. And it didn't start till like 2:00 in the afternoon, the first show, and look, every time one of the characters showed up on screen the first time, people cheered. And man, when he picked up the Emperor and threw him down that well, I mean, that place just blew up. Shit went flying everywhere, man. It was awesome. That was a great day in my movie lifetime. And I'm sure you guys have all seen it. And many people think that, they don't consider this one. They probably consider this one the worst of the original trilogy just because of the Ewoks. But I didn't mind the Ewoks at all. What I dug about it, my favorite part of it is the opening scene when they save Han. The part where Luke just goes off and starts wasting everybody, and and he goes in that place acting like he's got balls that come in a dump truck. He's not the whiny bitch he was in the first 2 movies. You know what I mean? It's very, very freaking cool, dude. Noc says, I'll watch it again. Of course you will. And E-Clay says, I thought you were going to say your favorite thing was Princess Leia in a bikini. Well, there is that perk. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, she's not hard on the eyes at all.
Or perky at this point.
Yeah, right. Or perky in this flick. Yeah, no doubt. But man, once again, an all-star cast. I mean, the fact, I mean, a lot of people think Empire Strikes Back is the best of the trilogy, and I somewhat agree to them. The whole reason why this makes my top 5 list, though, was the experience I had the day I went and saw it. It was just beyond anything. I don't think I'll ever enjoy a movie that much ever again. It was something else. It really was. And I tell you what I hate. I hate the fact that George can't quit messing with his stuff, and I'd love to get my hands on some original footage ones instead of these ones with the Sarlacc having tentacles coming out of it and all this other crap, you know. And what really annoys me is every time I hear Darth Vader yelling no when he picks up the Emperor and throws him down the fucking well. That was not in the original version of it, folks. He just did it. That's all he did. I hate that, man. It drives me up the wall every time I see it. Tim says the Sarlacc pit, a.k.a. your 2 ex-wives. No doubt. No doubt. That thing's got teeth. Look out, man. Yikes. All right. Return of the Jedi, number 2 on my list. And number 1 when it comes to Star Wars in my heart. That's for sure.
All right.
What do you got as number 2, buddy boy? 7 Samurai. Well, no wonder. No wonder. No wonder you like Battle Beyond the Stars. It's the same damn movie.
It's the same story, just different setting. But this is...
Don't tell me number 1's going to be Magnificent Seven.
No. Number 1 is not Magnificent Seven. This is by perhaps the greatest director of all time, Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah.
This stars the prototypical samurai actor, Toshiro Mifune.
Yep.
It is basically what all samurai and Asian action movies inspire to be.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But I've seen it. It was a long time ago when I saw it, but yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Now, it's kind of a long movie.
Yes.
It's 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's worth every minute.
You're not watching it. You're probably not watching it all in one setting. That's for sure.
No, you can pause it. There's an intermission point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely probably the best movie out of Japan.
Yeah, and it's inspired so many movies. Like we said, Magnificent Seven is a direct ripoff of this flick. No doubt about it. My buddy Ken, real quick, says Luke finally kicked that butt in Jedi. Great film. Tim says my personal favorite Akira Kurosawa film is Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. Yeah. And Knox says, so which to watch first, Samurai or Battle? Watch Samurai first. Watch Samurai first, bud. That's why it's higher up on the list, no doubt. Watch that one first. And I am looking at the poster right now in my computer Lego room. Yeah, nice. Very cool. But yeah, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so I mean, this is, like I said, this is the inspiration for pretty much every samurai movie that ever followed.
Yep.
This is the movie that cemented Kurosawa as the greatest Japanese director of all time.
Yep.
And maybe perhaps and Kurosawa's big influence on George Lucas.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because Star Wars is part of Star Wars is basically the Hidden Fortress.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
Which is another Kurosawa film.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's my number 2.
Very cool.
It's something I watch every year without fail.
You watch it every year without fail?
Yep.
When do you watch it? What part of the year?
I usually watch it in the spring.
Oh, yeah? Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I like that one, man. You've got some good stuff on your list. That's for sure.
Now you do
all right,
too.
Number 1 on my list. Anybody that knows me knows this is my favorite movie of all time. When I saw the trailer for it in 2001, I damn near jumped out of my chair. Couldn't believe we were getting a live action version of this. The closest we had come was, I believe it was Bakshi made one back in the 80s that was animated. But the first chapter of Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. That is my favorite movie ever. I could put it on a loop and watch it forever. If I was forced to watch one movie the rest of my life, it would be this one. It's no, it's not Caligula, you goon. Good Lord, no.
What is your obsession with Caligula, Tim?
But I don't know. Do I need to say about anything about the cast or anything like that? I'm sure Noc has seen this one. He doesn't have to put this on his list. He's probably seen it a million times, like I have. But I consider it better than the other two. A lot of people like the Two Towers better. I like this one.
Well, they like
Real-
Two Towers better because of the Battle of Helm's Deep.
The battle for Helm's Deep, yeah, that's a huge thing. The only major battle in this one is really the opening when you see the history of the ring and where it ended up.
Oh yeah.
But let's see. It's a gag. He says, Knox says it's my parent go to on the weekend when they aren't paying attention to the TV. That's it. Yeah, I just put it on the background. That's me too. I do that too. I will put this on all the time.
A lot of these movies of yours do show up in my top 10. So
no, I'm sure. The common thread in every one of these movies, my favorite thing about movies is when the big thing happens, how do you react? When it all comes down, what will you do? You know, everybody's going to react different, and that's what I love about these movies. You know, Frodo doesn't want to go on this journey, but he goes, you know, because he knows he's got to help his friends out and stuff like that. And the thing I really love about this, look, I'm sitting there, and look, there was a big buildup for this movie. Okay, the first one came out in 2001, and they put out the first trailers for it in 2000 around Christmas time. Okay.
I remember the trailers.
And had that very thing with them walking through the mountain pass. And I was watching it and I was like, oh my God. And my wife was like, what is it? What is it? I said, babe, they're finally making the Lord of the Rings live action. And, she decided she wanted to read the books like I had. I read these books when I was 11, you know. Just, you know, they're part of the things that, you know, that formed my ideas about the world and everything, you know. And when you really pay attention to them, they're really a retelling of World War I in a different time and place, you know, because, you know, but we all know Tolkien. We all know the lore. He wanted to make his own mythology for England, and that's what this is supposed to be. And, he wrote The Hobbit first. It was like a children's story, and his publishers asked him, "Could you do something like this for adults?" He started writing the Fellowship, and then he went and fought in World War I, and then he came back. And a lot of the visuals you see, like the soul stealing dead bodies that are in the swamp, you know, the ones with the eyes that'll suck you down. A lot of that was his visions from warfare. You know. Kind of nightmarish. And I mean, it's just the whole lore of this is just fantastic. But my wife, like I said, wanted to read the books before she saw the movies, and she only got about halfway done with Fellowship. I mean, you know, J.R.R. Tolkien can be kind of long-winded, you know, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah, I know. It's not.
And I'm sitting here watching this movie, and this is the thing. Peter Jackson is a fan, the director of this, you know, and it shows on film because you couldn't put everything that's in these stories in the movie, but he put the most important things in there. And as I was watching the movie, I was remembering what had happened in the book. And when the orcs showed up there at the end and Boromir started blowing that horn, I was like, oh my God. And she was like, what? I said, don't worry. You don't know what's going on. And I just remembered what happened. And it was like they ripped that fight right out of the pages of the book. You know what I mean? It took a lot to take him down, and he took a lot of orcs with him. It was his redemption, you know. Because he had tried to steal the ring from Frodo, you know. It was fantastic. I love Fellowship of the Ring. I think it's the best one they ever made. I love the other two too. And, you know, I think they were just waiting. They could have given Best Picture to all three of these. I think they just waited for the last one to coronate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, the first
Yeah.
fantasy movies to win Best Picture. Yeah, Fellowship of the
This is-
Ring is my favorite ever. Yeah.
This is another movie that's on my list of movies that I see every year without fail.
Oh yeah.
I watch all three as close to January 3rd as possible.
January 3rd. Significance being
Tolkien's birthday.
Tolkien's birthday. Okay, very cool. That's cool. That's a cool reason to do it. Let's see. Tim says, "Me too. I thought the same thing. For the Return of the King, I thought when there's a whip, there's a way.
There's a whip.
There's a way.
There's a way. Yeah.
Yep.
From the
Okay.
Bashki.
Yep. Okay. So that's it for my top 5. Let's see what John has is his
Drum
best.
roll, please.
Drum roll, please. Boom. The
Princess
Princess Bride. Wow, we both got fantasy stories as our top ones, man. The Princess Bride is a great movie, man. My gosh. You want to talk about some talented folks made that flick, man.
Well, I can't stand Rob Reiner as a human being.
No, but he makes some funny shit, man. He really does.
He makes some good movies. So I will give him his props.
You got to separate the art from the artist here.
But I mean, as Peter Falk says, it has everything. It has romance.
Yes, it does.
It has action, adventure. There's swashbuckling. There's pirates.
It's a love story.
It's a love story. Mm-hmm. Is this a kissing book?
Yeah, right. Is this a kissing book? Yeah. As you wish.
Yep.
As you wish.
This is probably one of the most quotable movies ever made.
Yep. Heard about it, never seen it. Really, Noc. Yeah, that's on your S list, buddy. Yeah, you need to see this one. You will enjoy the fuck out of it. It's fantastic. Yes.
Carrie Elways, Mandy Patinkin, Robin Wright, Chris Sarandon, Christopher Guest, Wallace Shawn, Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Tim
Fred
just
Savage,
mentioned that.
Peter
Andre
Falk,
the Giant's in it. Inconceivable! E. Clay Thomas says.
Carol Kane, Billy Crystal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so great. The cast is awesome.
Cast.
Fell in love with, I think her name was Robin Wright Penn back then.
Yeah.
I think she was married to Sean Penn at the time.
Before Madonna.
Fell in love with her. Yep. Yep. What a great movie. That movie's fantastic. And Christopher Guest is in it, right?
Yes, he is.
And he's married to my girl, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That is. You know what? Some of the most brilliant comedic minds in the world worked on that movie, and it shows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is it's a fantasy movie, but it's funny too. That it is very funny. And Chris Sarandon's in it. Yep. Who I've talked about several times being, there are generations of people that are fans of that guy because of, he doesn't make many movies. He's a Broadway actor.
Yeah.
But when he makes a flick, it's memorable, man. It really is. From Dog Day Afternoon to this one to Fright Night back in the 80s. And he's the voice of Jack in The Nightmare Before Christmas. And oh, man. Dude, yeah, Chris Sarandon is Prince Humperdinck. I mean, just the names in this movie will crack you up, dude. It's too much. Let's see. Looking at the pics, I feel like I've seen parts of it. Probably my parents watching it sometime when I was younger. Yeah, absolutely. Trust me, your parents have seen this. They dig it. Yeah, for sure. John Rob Reiner is a real meathead. Yes, he is.
Yes,
he is definitely the meathead.
I get the joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Those of you that don't know, that are too young to know, he was on a show called All in the Family. And he's
the son-in-law of...
yeah, right. But his nickname was Meathead.
Yep.
And he called him that just because he didn't agree with him politically. It was hilarious.
It was Rob Reiner. He was a big lefty.
Yeah, he was a big lefty. Yep. He was himself on that show. That's why it was so easy for him to do. And oh my God, yeah, Archie Bunker will go down in history probably as the most famous bigot of all time. But back then it worked, we didn't take things so personally back then. We laughed at ourselves, and it was a funny show. It really was really good. But
yeah, there's just so many movies that are in my top list.
Yeah.
That after I get past this point,
yeah,
don't even ask me to list them because put them in order because
yeah,
there's
put
no
them in
way.
order, it would be
I
tough
have
for
to
you.
struggle with this, and sometimes the only constant is The Princess Bride is always my favorite movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of the best ever, man. It really is.
That's a movie I watch if I don't feel well. It's a movie that I'll watch if I'm happy. It doesn't matter. I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm. I
If it's
noticed you've
on,
got a few comedies in there, man. That one and Army of Darkness stick out to me, man.
yeah, and I don't watch a lot of comedies. I mean,
Yeah.
these are genre comedies, so I'm cool with that. But just the straight comedies, I don't have a lot of those on my list. If it's just a straight comedy.
Yep. You know what? Whenever Noc is done with his list, we might have to go genre hunting. You know, top 5 comedies, top 5 this, top 5 that. We'll let him dictate what we're gonna do. You know, it's his list. He's got to chop down. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it for us this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed us talking our favorite stuff here in the Halloween season. Like I said, next week we're going to talk more about Halloween, but we can't not talk about the girls, man. And actually, there's a guy on the. If you saw my list, number 2 on my list is Phantasm. That's actually a final guy. It's a teenage boy that's being chased through that whole movie.
Oh yeah,
boy, yeah. But yeah, man, we'll get into it. Let's see, Janet from another planet. Hey, Janet, it's good to see you. Top 5 everything. You know it, man. Everything.
Yep.
Noc should add it's a mad world. Well, we might get around to that one of these days.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, gals, she says. Yeah, top 5 gals, no doubt. Got to have the gals for sure. But I'm gonna have a guy represented though. I'll put the guy from Phantasm on there because he was really good. He was.
Yeah.
He was gonna get some answers. Damn it. He was gonna find out what happened to his friend, no doubt. But anyway,
Carrie Ellis from Princess Bride is a final girl.
Okay, let me think. What movie?
Saw.
Okay, see, look, if it's after 2000, I probably haven't seen it. And I've never seen any of the Saw movies, man. Never have seen any of them. But I know I need to, but it's just my wife doesn't watch horror. She doesn't watch horror. Yeah, peace to you, my friend. You be good, Noc. Enjoy your vacation. Enjoy your day tomorrow. I know he's gonna have a ball tomorrow, building a droid and a lightsaber in the same day. What? And he's gonna fly the Millennium Falcon tomorrow. What? What the hell, man? He's gonna have a full day, man. That's for sure. Yeah. You want to tell him about anything you got coming up there, John, before we get out of here?
Yeah, Friday is Pop Culture Minefield's game day part 2 for the week, and I will be playing Baldur's Gate, which seems to be a popular game. Has a lot of comedic moments. I get a lot of crap thrown at me by my panel. So yeah. So
man, we're just keeping the conversation lively while you're playing.
I know. But yeah,
you guys got to watch this sometimes. He gets so locked in sometimes he doesn't even hear us. We're sitting there just jabbing at him, trying to get him to react. You know?
Yeah. I get sucked in when I'm playing. So,
well, that's why I always have people on my gaming streams because I know I can get sucked into it and forget to talk. You know what I mean? So, let's see. Noc says Saw movies next on Discord movie list. Really? Yeah, I hear you. I haven't seen them.
At least the first one. At least the first one.
Yeah. I mean, I know the lore. I know what happens in the first one. It's already been spoiled for me. Trust me. It's been out so long. I already know. I've seen the scene, and everything.
Yeah. That got me. I didn't figure it out when I saw it at theaters. I'm like,
really?
I completely missed it. I'm like, after it was over, I'm like, I sat there while the credits were rolling going, he was there the whole time?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good twist. It is a good twist. Let's see. Tim says, I'm working, John, so I will miss it. That's all right. That's what they got replays for, man.
Yeah.
That's what they got replays for. But anyway, all right, John. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Let you guys know what's going on with the channel. Of course, you were watching State of the Atmosfere. We do this at 5:30 p.m. every Wednesday evening. Next week, it'll be pretty much the same show, except we're going to have the final girls and a discussion of some offbeat Halloween horror movies we think you should watch. And then for the Noc List, I don't know. I think we'll have enough with the Halloween stuff, but get a hold of me during the week and see if there's anything you want us to cover in the Noc List. We might it might be just time for you to do your reviews, buddy. And then Thursday, tomorrow night, you can see me and my brother hack the Matrix. That's the week's headlines seen through the eyes of a couple of working stiffs. Pretty much laughing and getting pissed off. Just everybody's same reactions to what we find out in the news every week in the clown show that is 2023. The Brothers Hack the Matrix every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And then you can watch me work on my comic book, Sketching the Privateer, every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. And then Sunday, you can watch John, Noc, Matt, and me when we do NFL pregame party. 2 hours before kickoff, we let you know our opinions on what's going to happen in the NFL that day before it kicks off at 10 a.m. Central Time. And then Monday, my busiest day streaming, we're going to start it with Midway this week on Military Monday. Morning Coffee with Gary at 10 a.m. Central Time. And then at 4 p.m. Central Time, it'll be That 70s Rock Fan. We did Life Force. We did the Canon Film Club and looked at Life Force last Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Not sure. He's leaning towards a music show this time. You never know with him. He might take a week off, but it's usually it's only Talking Rolls. Time is 4 p.m. Central Time on Mondays. And then at 6:30 p.m., you can watch Papa Joe Gamer After Dark, my continuing playthrough of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And that's at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Monday. And Tuesday is Papa Joe Gamer. This week, we're going to do WWE 2K19, Cocktails and Fails, at 10 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday. And that brings us right back around to State of the Atmosphere. So, for myself and John, we want to thank you for watching. Go subscribe to our channels. Like, subscribe. Leave us a comment about your favorite Halloween stuff. And until we see you again, I want you guys to keep on keeping on. God bless. What color do you think Noc's going to make his lightsaber?
Probably blue.
Probably blue? I say green.